Hello and welcome today. I'm Angela Wilhelms, Oregon Business and Industries President and CEO, and I'm really excited today to welcome Clare Bertrand of the College Board. She's joined us to talk about the new AP Business Principles and Personal Finance course that the College Board has put together. I first had the opportunity to learn about this from a presentation I heard earlier this year and was immediately excited and wanted to know how OBI could help bring this to Oregon. We had planned to offer this as a live webinar, but due to our current timing and some other schedule issues, we had to pivot to a recorded presentation instead. So thank you, Claire, for your flexibility, and thank you, audience, for bearing with us in that change. So let's get back to why we're doing this. Skills-based education is a critical piece of developing today's workforce and tomorrow's. We hear about this every day from businesses that we represent and the broader Oregon business community. In addition to skills-based education for a future in business, students also need a robust personal finance education to prepare them for whatever life brings, to live on their own, to start their own business, or just to navigate their future career, whatever it may be. For these reasons, OBI is thrilled to be working with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and the College Board to spread the word about a new high school AP course we'd love to see here in Oregon. That is the AP course in Business Principles and Personal Finance. So again, Clare Bertrand from the College Board has joined us today to talk about that course. She's the College Board's Executive Director of Career Strategy and Partnerships. You may know this, but the College Board is a nonprofit organization that has developed widely known standardized tests like the SAT, as well as AP courses. Their tests and classes are taken by millions of high school students every year. This AP Business Principles and Personal Finance course will be available in the 2026-27 school year. So again, I'm excited that you have the opportunity to learn more about it. Hopefully you can help us at OBI in turn help the College Board bring this to Oregon. So now, Claire, I'm going to hand it off to you, who can talk, and you can talk about the course and share some of the things that business leaders can do to support the effort.
Thank you, Angela. I'm Clare Bertrand from the College Board, and as Angela noted, we are an assessment and course provider. So we reach about 7 million students annually. We have our SAT suite, our advanced placement courses, which we'll be talking about today, Big Future, which is a career in college navigation tool, and our CLEP and AccuPlacer assessments, which are for adult learners. As I mentioned, we reach millions of students. About 90% of public school students go to a high school where AP courses are provided. So we're in almost every single high school in America. We have 6,000 educational partners in our membership organization. Again, as Angela noted, we're a nonprofit and we have K-12 and higher education members, as well as other associations. And finally, the data point that I am most excited to share is that we see about $3 billion in annual tuition savings through AP credit as students take our courses. So given that we reach so many students and educators every year, we're constantly surveying students and teachers. And we're also looking at other surveys that ask students, what is school like today? How are you feeling? And what would you like to see in terms of access to better options for learning, as well as planning your future? Well, we've seen that less than 50% of Gen Z think their coursework is challenging. And also, it doesn't really give them the opportunity to do what they do best. And we've also asked students, well, then what? What do you need then? They're asking for more applied learning, as well as hands-on ways to do things that simulate career, connect to career, and just feel more relevant in their day-to-day. We've also looked at the ways in which education is disconnected from employability. So we know that education struggles to keep pace to teach the skills needed for a rapidly changing labor market. We also know that companies are spending more on hiring, more on learning and development, but see little in return. And finally, in a marketplace of just millions of credentials, degrees, it's a little chaotic, it's noisy. Employers don't know what to trust in terms of the types of credentials people are showing up with. And it's a bit of a black box in terms of who has what skills and how they've demonstrated that and what credentials actually matter. So given all of this and listening to our students and talking to employers and industry as well as chambers, we developed a set of courses called Career Kickstart. These courses are meant to use the best of advanced placement and blend it with the best of career technical education. I'm going to talk through the design of these courses and some of the courses we are launching in the fall 2026. The U.S. Chamber and the College Board have partnered to start promoting our business with personal finance courses. But I will also be talking about our cybersecurity and networking courses today, as those are quite relevant to the labor market needs and what employers are looking for and the talent gap we see, and also quite supported by the U.S. Chamber. So I thought it'd be helpful to talk about both courses, even though this is going to focus mainly on business. So how are these courses developed and why were they developed? So essentially we want to prepare students for every option after high school, whether they're heading to 2-year, 4-year colleges, technical schools, or the workforce. And we're currently developing courses in business with personal finance, cybersecurity, and cyber networking. These courses will offer students high school credit, they're aligned with state standards, college credit, which you'll find with advanced placement, it's college level work, and then industry recognized credentials. So credentialing students so they can show what they know and demonstrate the industry skills they've built. Career Kickstart is really designed to be responsive to what students are looking for and what employers know means students have actually built the skills. So applied learning first and foremost, focusing on problem solving and technical and professional skills. Also career connections, building the course so it's relevant to workforce needs, embeds work-based learning, and is also aligned with industry recognized credentials and college credit. And finally, it's designed to serve all students, teachers, and schools. There are no prerequisites, and we want to make sure that students feel welcome in these classes, that CTE students see an advanced placement course that makes sense to them and, aligns with where they're going in terms of their sequences in CTE. And also AP students who may be in comprehensive high schools see a CTE class that may be of use to them and of interest. So we really want to blur the lines between AP students and CTE students. And that's what really one of the goals of these courses. As I mentioned, this is built on our advanced placement model. So this includes a lot of robust supports that we know work and that teachers and educators really adore. So one is robust teacher training, dedicated educator communities, free student resources, high quality assessments, and the broadest national network of college credit policies. When we are designing these courses, and as I mentioned, they're built on the AP model, we invite high school to the table, higher ed, of course, to do alignment with college credit. But for the Career Kickstart courses, we invite industry to the table as well. They helped in designing these courses and helping us understand the skills students need. We also invited state CTE leaders and organizations like Advanced CTE to make sure that we understood how to enter the career course space and how to add value to the ecosystem. On the right of this slide, you'll see some of our partners in higher education as well as industry. I want to talk a little bit about the challenging opportunity of what we're calling an industry recognized credential or an employer endorsed credential. So along with college credit and that high school credit, we want students to actually get something that signals they have specialized and technical and professional skills in a certain industry. So that would be business as well as cybersecurity. We also know that only 18% of credentials earned by K-12 students are demanded by employers. So we want to make sure we're providing students with a credential that's low barrier to entry and high quality. So we're building these assessments to confer credentials that align with credentials that are already in the labor market. We'll talk a little bit about that later in the presentation, but also stack for students in our portable to ensure that they show what students know and they're meaningful. And that's also why we are talking to chambers and building relationships with employers so we can give students credentials that matter in their local context and also nationally. So here we'll get into the business with personal finance course. So this course is really a foundational course for business. It provides an overview of business concepts, including competition and new ideas, marketing, business finance and accounting, and management and strategy. Personal finance is also part of it as well and is woven in throughout the course. The way that's designed, as I mentioned, we're really interested in building in applied learning into these courses. So there's project-based learning, As part of the course, students develop their own entrepreneurial Canvas project. They practice advising on financial decisions like loans, home ownership, and retirement planning, and also achieve the national standards for personal finance education. We're also asking students to learn by doing. So the course content goes fairly deep, but it also provides them an opportunity to understand that business skills are utilized across a lot of industries. And the course experience will help students apply decision-making skills, entrepreneurial skills, and high-quality CTE principles, which are really our project-based learning and performance tasks. The course is a year long. It's divided up into 4 units. And as mentioned, personal finance and financial literacy are woven in throughout the unit. So students understand that business knowledge is not separate than personal finance and financial literacy knowledge. The business skills students gain are valued by employers. We've looked at surveys and we've talked to employers, industries, and chambers ourselves. Entrepreneurship, concept application, decision-making, communication, collaboration are all integrated into these courses. Further, we have case studies, so students really get that real-life information about how businesses run and some of the problems and challenges they face. So we'll talk a little bit about the cybersecurity and networking course. Cybersecurity and networking is aligned with the NICE framework. If you're familiar with cybersecurity, you know that the NICE framework aligns the industry around KSAs for entry level to median level and expert level roles in those industries. And as part of this course, just like the business course, we integrate scenarios and we integrate career awareness. For cybersecurity, many students don't realize the breadth of opportunity that is open to them and the different ways they can utilize these skills. So we present skill building in the context of being a network security engineer in, let's say, a hospital, or a network technician in a naval submarine, or a security equipment manufacturer who helps farms protect themselves from hacks. And also with these IRCs, they're stackable and they bridge to cyber sector IRCs that are already in the labor market, such as CompTIA and Cisco. The assessment actually gets students 92% of the way there. So again, as we think about credentials for high schoolers, we want to meet them where they are and move them forward. So these credentials are meant to be meaningful in the labor market, but also stack to a CompTIA or a Cisco credential. So how can employers support Career Kickstart? Well, they're helping us with the review and advisement of our frameworks. As we build courses out, industry is at the table to help us shape what's in these courses. They help us identify in-demand technical and professional skills. So as we know, skills are rapidly changing. College Board wants to continue having relationships with employers, even as courses launch, to make sure we are updating the way students engage with skills, build skills, and understand how business is changing or cybersecurity is changing. And also connecting students to opportunity. So essentially, we want to make sure students have their college credit, their credential, as many options as possible, and also some work-based learning opportunities to connect to on the ground. So how do you get involved? So first and foremost, we're collecting letters of support for our courses. We want to get on state industry recognized credential lists. That's helpful to ensure that we can make sure we expand the course for all students. And the U.S. Chamber has already signed a letter of support, which is wonderful. And many chambers across the country, I think around 75, are signed on in supporting as well as other industry and employers. Also fostering future talent by engaging your local schools. So we can use things like our AP Classroom, which is an online platform, Big Future, to build awareness of your brand for your company and connect to early talent. That's something we're working on down the road. We're also working with national intermediaries to think through what would a business competition look like or a cyber competition. So we're looking for employers that help us think about those and design those. And also internship and apprenticeship programs for those that are already created, as well as those who would be built based on these courses. Finally, we know that teachers are a critical component to making sure that students have the skills they need. So we are looking to build a robust teacher pipeline in cybersecurity and business, and the other courses we'll be developing, such as healthcare, to ensure that students have flexibility, so teachers have flexibility, and they can provide students with the knowledge and skills they need, as well as have the opportunity to be credentialed and be qualified to teach courses that are needed, sorely needed in many places, especially those that need cybersecurity talent and business talent. So this is at the end of our presentation. You can learn more about Career Kickstart by using this QR code. But also I'll be sending this presentation out with the chamber, and you can use it there or also reach out to me with any questions.
Great, Claire, thank you for that terrific overview and for that link. And again, as Claire noted, we will have on our website available for those watching this recording, the slides, but also additional information like the FAQ and other links so that as this evolves, that information will stay updated. We did have some folks who submitted a few questions in advance, and I've got a couple more. So before we let you go, Claire, if you'll indulge me with a few of those.
Sure.
Um, so can you talk a little bit about the thought behind combining business principles and personal finance in a single course? There's some obvious connection, but they're also two different topics. And so I'm just curious what the thought process was behind that.
Sure. I think this is something that our CEO, David Coleman, says is that at the end of the day, fundamentally, the course is about how to make money and how to keep it. So, you do need personal finance and financial literacy to build a business. And we know that many young people, students, Gen Z, they're interested in being entrepreneurs. So you not only need to understand business, how to build a business, but also how to handle your own finances, how to make good decisions. And financial literacy really is helpful when you are working on your own as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, and if you're working in a large company. And also we found, and interestingly, Starbucks has actually implemented a personal finance training for their baristas because they realized that the level of stress people had around their own personal finances was impacting the productivity on the floor. So they were worrying about their own personal finance situation, and it was getting in the way of them showing up to work and being fully present. So we want to get in front of that. Additionally, many states have financial literacy requirements, and we thought it'd be great to blend that with business. So it's not just a student sitting in a classroom and thinking, okay, how do I balance a checkbook? What is a 401k? We were building it into a business class that provides an opportunity to build your own business plan. And as part of that business plan, what are some considerations that you have to think about if you're going to go out on your own? How will you pay for healthcare? What will it mean for the future in terms of your retirement? What are some of the decisions you need to make as an individual to build out a business where you are the owner? So I think it's a natural fit. And also, again, it helps students meet that personal finance requirement and embeds it with business knowledge and skills that they can use, whether they be an entrepreneur, an entrepreneur, working for a company, or, start if they go out and become a hairdresser, most likely they're going to want to eventually own a salon. So we believe it's really has quite a range and will be appealing to many students.
Yeah, so let's stick with that for a second. One of the things I was really moved by when I heard your CEO talking about this is, people often assume AP courses are only for the top or elite students or students who want that college credit. And they're so I think they feel unreachable for a lot of students or inaccessible for a lot of students, or just maybe not in line with some students' academic goals. But this one's a little different. It sounds like the cybersecurity one as well. The career kickstart in general feels different. And I remember him talking about this, that it's meant to appeal to a wider audience. And so can you elaborate a little on the vision of who can access this class and what students you're interested in having access this class?
Sure. I mean,
Classes, plural.
yeah, I think really our interest is that all students can access this class. So business is meant to be a 10th, 11th grade class. cybersecurity and cyber networking can be 10th, 11th, 12th. We really leave it up to the schools in terms of sequence and access. And what we really are excited about is the opportunity to integrate a career technical education course into a comprehensive high school with the brand AP associated with it as well. So it does help for students, it helps students and really teachers and counselors in terms of a mindset shift. They think about, oh, advanced placement, oh, career, that's interesting. So who might be interested in this, and who could really benefit from seeing themselves as an AP student, or who could really benefit from having a little bit more career connectedness in their coursework. So we do think these courses can be taken on their own or taken as part of a career technical education sequence. We do know that there's a lot of high quality CTE courses out there. For example, we were just on a presentation with the Toledo Chamber in Ohio, and they have an excellent cybersecurity course, and ours aligns to it so that it can be sequenced in. So a student who might be in a cybersecurity course sequence within a IT career academy all of a sudden sees AP show up on their schedule, and they're like, huh, okay, interesting. And, that is, I think, an opportunity for students to consider, how might I use the credentials I'm earning in high school, but how might I use this college credit as well? And how might I use this in concert with dual enrollment courses I'm also taking? So we believe that there's an opportunity for students to access all of the ways in which courses have been configured and meant to create a pathway, and it fits right into that sequence and pathway for students, and has that AP AP brand, but also coming with that is that high quality piece, right? It's it's going to be a college level course. And what we're doing with Career Kickstart is really making the barrier to entry quite low, and thinking differently about how we create more opportunity for project-based learning, more applied learning to appeal to more students. So really, at the end of the day, it's for all students. We're really working with comprehensive high schools as well as CTE schools, and working with states to get course codes in advanced placement and CTE. So the courses show up as both and count towards both. It's an effort. And, as mentioned in the presentation, we have the largest college credit policy. We have course codes across the country. We work at a state level. So being able to leverage AP will be helpful to get these courses in as many schools as possible and as accessible as possible to all students.
Yeah, that's great. Are you on the college credit side? What sort of interest or acceptance are you seeing from colleges for recognizing these credits? Or because this is kind of a shift, the Career Kickstart is kind of a shift from just raw academic knowledge to professional skills and skills-based credits and things. Are you seeing acceptance in the higher education space
We
for
are. We're
for
seeing,
that?
yes, yeah, we are seeing a lot of great momentum. So in order for us to have college credit conferred and have that articulation, we need to have our frameworks locked. So we have to have like everything packaged for the colleges to review. So we are waiting for some of our frameworks to be locked, and we know that colleges are like ready to go. And so a part of the strategy for this round of aligning our courses with colleges to access that college credit in different states, we are having conversations in a more intentional and robust way around community colleges. So we know that, again, with CTE, with more career connected courses, community colleges sometimes have the best program of study in a certain area, whether it be cybersecurity or business. And if we really are truly going to expand sort of the students we serve, we know that they're going to a number of different post-secondary institutions and going into a lot of different options. So we are talking to not only our members, but also new colleges who aren't our members. We have community college members and some community colleges that are not in our members yet. But we are really looking to make sure that we have college credit in community college systems as well as four-year systems too, state and private. So it's moving forward. We're really excited about the momentum and have heard a lot of great excitement and energy around building out these career courses.
Yeah, that's great. And I assume on that QR code or the website that you're going to have, that's where employers will be able to see the curriculum and kind of unpack a little more of the detail to the extent they want to dive in.
Yes, I'll be sending links. The QR code is actually an interest form.
Oh,
So
right. Okay. Excuse me.
but then we'll be sending in our follow-up links that have the information, more of a deep dive into each of the courses. And as part of the email, I'll be sending a letter of support that employers can sign if they're interested and can support the course and get it out into Oregon schools.
Yeah, that's terrific. Well, and it sounds, I mean, this is good all the way around, and more is generally better when it comes to options for students
Mhm.
to build those skills and think about their futures. So thank you guys for doing this. So I can't imagine there's a lot of, opposition per se. It's probably more that there are just obstacles to getting it done in the way of bureaucracy or administrations, boxes you have to check and all the work to ensure the quality, but also just, there's some hoop jumping that probably needs to get done. And of course, it's going to be different in every state a little bit. So what are just some of the obstacles that you're facing and how again can we as the statewide chamber or our local chamber partners or other businesses and associations here in Oregon help? Just one more time to package that up.
Of course, yeah. No, I think there's a couple ways. So first, the interest form would be great. Signing a letter of support would be wonderful. And I know Oregon businesses have already signed letters of support as well as the chamber. So I thank you for that. And the letters are really non-committal. They're not binding. They're just essentially saying these are skills we want our, entry level folks to have. And we believe that this course is going to provide those skills. And it's really part of a process wherein we are applying to the state to get on their industry recognized credential list. So that will be helpful to, again, ensure that students can get access to these courses and that they feel it's really worth their time and they're getting kind of connected to credentials that they can, utilize. Further, I think from a chamber perspective, convening employers who might be of interest, and want to learn more, definitely hiring managers or HR talent managers, convening superintendents or education partners who you believe would benefit in learning more about this course, and understanding how it can benefit the students, and then also giving us feedback on, oh, this is what we'd like to see, or this is what we don't want to see. Additionally, there's a lot going on in Oregon. So any way we can add value to initiatives that are already in flight, and especially, policies that are connected to teacher flexibility and teacher credentialing, ensuring that teachers who are qualified to teach and can get in the classroom, especially around cybersecurity. That's really a place where there's not enough teachers to teach those classes, but we're able to provide professional development and get teachers pretty well qualified and able to get moving on teaching those sorts of courses. But sometimes that there's policy that is in the way, that is, meant to be it's well intentioned, but can also limit the ability of teachers to teach these courses as skills um, rapidly change, and industry changes and like new jobs are formed, right? We know that there's just going to be, I don't know, like jobs we don't even know the title to are going to be coming up online in probably 5 years. So, how does education respond to that? We're thinking a lot about that with partners in our policy and at a national level, but at a state level as well.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, I hear with pretty good regularity from people who have retired as professionals in IT, technology, finance, accounting, you name it, whatever. And, a great way for them to give back in retirement is to teach a course based on their skills and making those types of opportunities, among others, for professionals to help share that knowledge and fill the gap in available supply right now is really important. So thank you for thinking about that. Okay, so I want to do a quick shout out really quick to some folks who helped join us in supporting, as Claire mentioned, with letters of support. So Thank you to some association partners, AGC, Food Northwest, the auto dealers, the Bankers Association, Oregon Forest Industries Council, the Home Builders Association, Restaurant and Lodging Association, and the Oregon Retailers all joined together to submit a letter of support. And we have some local and regional chambers on our board here at OBI, and the leaders of those chambers from Albany, Astoria, Warrenton, Bend, Portland, Roseburg, and Washington County all also joined on a letter of support, in addition to a number of our members and businesses. So thank you to those folks for heeding that call and engaging, and we'll continue to work with them to see how we can be helpful. But Claire, thank you for your time today. Thank you for doing this. Good luck and keep us posted on how we can help. And we look forward to seeing this in Oregon.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us.